Björn. Maybe you know that quote from other novelists from your country. I know that quote from Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. It's something like, I had no time. So he apologized for a long letter saying, I had no time to write you a short letter. So the same is true for that presentation. I had not enough time to present Slack in just 5 minutes. So maybe I take some minutes more, but Björn will just kick me off the stage here. So the question is, are enterprise messaging platforms a la Slack the future collaboration platforms? First of all, let's check who has real experience with Slack in the audience. So who knows Slack from hands-on? Okay, so then let's start the discussion immediately. So you use it productively in your organizations, or you're just a member of some teams and use it randomly? So who use it productively? Yes. Okay, less. Good. So maybe, hopefully I have something new to you. If not, then I'm happy to discuss my slides and my opinions with you. Why am I here? I think it's just because Björn asked me. We have a lot of experience with a lot of platforms, different technology stacks. We work a lot with, let's say, the Mode 1 collaboration stacks like IBM Connections or all kind of Microsoft stuff, or even smaller providers like Mango Apps. And we are currently experimenting with Slack in our own organization, and we have one commercial project or initiative in Latin America where we use Slack as a chat-based service desk. So we use it as the interface to our customer base, and the customer base is in all countries, especially in Chile, Argentina, Brazil, and in North America, hopefully soon. And we use Slack as the chat platform to get the input from the users. First of all, a reminder to myself, tools are all just a reflection of the way we choose to communicate. That's important. We choose to communicate. So what you choose as a platform shows me what kind of collaboration and communication you want to have in your organization. So to answer the question, are enterprise messaging platforms a la Slack the future collaboration platforms? Yes, they are. Here are the reasons. Conversations put to work. With Slack, it's so much easier than with Connections or all kind of Microsoft platforms or Mango Apps platforms to integrate real business processes. So you just have a slash and a command, and you immediately can create an incident. You immediately automatically start a process in a different application. So that's what's missing in all kind of collaboration platforms. With Slack, you have it almost for free. So you can just use it. Of course, it has its price, but you can use it. So you can connect people, tools, processes, and automation in one transparent workflow. Second, you have true ubiquity. And I would say that Slack is the first collaboration tool that is made for the smartphone or for an app and not for a browser. Yeah? And you see that. Yeah, you see that. The user experience is completely different, and it's exactly the same either you use the web, the app, or your smartphone or your tablet. It's exactly the same. And just ask that for Microsoft or IBM products. Third point, painless Office integrations. We all know the pain with, for example, IBM Connections and Office documents like Word or PowerPoint or whatever you use. Here in Slack, it's not made for document management, but it has some basic tools itself. But you can very easily integrate third-party apps like Quip, for example. And with Quip, you have a seamless integration. What others are trying hard to do is there with your fingertips. In just a few minutes, you have that integration in place. It's weird to talk about Slack and not showing it. I have everything what I'm saying here. I can also demo. So if you want, we can have a demo tonight or tomorrow or later today. I can show you what I'm talking about hands-on. By the way, the bots we are currently developing, they run on a Raspberry Pi that is on the desk of one of my colleagues at the moment. So that's the infrastructure we use. This will be the next level of cloud data centers, or maybe that's fog computing. So it's the Raspberry Pi computing. Fourth point is seamless process integration. I already told you that with a slash a command, you can just start a process in a different application. That's really cool. And it's not just what we know as a kind of integration we know from other collaboration platforms. You could say it is a kind of an app store without an interface. The interface is the slash command. And the fifth point, I just had a discussion with my colleagues about that. If we put it on the pro or the contra side, it's the very, very easy way to integrate users, to do user management, etc. So with Slack, you have just 3 levels. So you have teams. Teams is a closed shop, let's say. And in these teams, you have channels, and you have direct conversations with the people that are in that team. So that's all, and that's very easy to implement. And of course, it's also very easy to implement external users. You can do that quite easily. So these are the main topics why I believe that Slack is the future of enterprise collaboration. Okay, but I'm from Germany. I studied philosophy, and my main philosopher is Georg Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel. So when we go to the pro side, we also have to look at the contra side. So why is Slack not the future of enterprise messaging, of collaboration? Well, I think I don't have to say more about that. That's the usual first rant we hear against kind of Slack or HipChat. If I talk about Slack, you can also use, you can replace Slack by HipChat or other. There are a lot of open source platforms already. Some of them are peer-to-peer, by the way. Maybe some of you remember Groove from our famous Ray Ossie. So maybe that's also something that is against Slack because it's still centralized. But this is the main topic against Slack. You can really lose control quite easily. And it's just another vendor login. It's not so cheap. Because in the end, you need not just Slack, but you need other apps, you need other platforms to combine. And of course, you need the enterprise versions, you need the integration, so you have to pay per user, and it's not really cheap. I would say, and this is another real, let's say, discussion we have in our organization, I would say it's for digitalistas mainly. So I had a lot of problems to use Slack in the first 2 weeks or so. It's not so, if you are used to use Connections or Office 365, then it's really a mind change to use Slack. It's really complicated in a way. But if you're used to it, it's very, very, very easy. I have, by the way, the slides are already on SlideShare, and I have some links at the end, and there is one link to a Slack versus HipChat website, and it's quite funny because they made a survey on day 1 and a survey on day 7. They were using HipChat for half a year or so, and then they wanted just to use Slack for 1 week. And the first day, after the first day of using Slack, they asked about the user interface, and this was quite ugly. So people thought that Slack is really ugly. 7 days later, it was just the opposite. People liked the interface and they hated the HipChat interface. So it's really funny. If you're used to it, it's really easy. It's still cloud-based only. They have, of course, data centers all over the world, but you cannot just say that your data is in Germany or your data is in Europe. So the data is somewhere. I don't think that they are really enterprise-ready at the moment. There are always rumors that there will be an on-prem version, but nobody knows. Maybe Diane knows more about that. You feel lost. There is no tool to. My 10 minutes are over. So there is no way to. I don't know if this is an English expression. But if not, then from now on it is. You cannot densify content. Yeah? You just have your chat stream. That's it. That's a problem. If you use Quip, for example, and you collaboratively edit documents on Quip, then they do that integration in a way that they densify the content in Slack. So you don't have a line for each editing round, but they put everything that is related to the changes in the document in one message. Yeah? So that's kind of an integration I would like to see, and I think Slack will work on that for sure. And I have no idea about the fifth, but to stay in the slide perspective, you can fill in your own prejudices here. So my suggestion is that we have to get rid of the idea that we use one platform in our organizations as the main collaboration platform, or the only collaboration, not the main, the only collaboration platform. I would say that maybe Slack is not the solution or the end of it, but vendors come, vendors go. We should really focus on the usage and the usage patterns behind collaboration, and then choose the platforms, the tools, the APIs, the apps that are best fit. I'm sure that the bot pattern will remain. We heard that from Huguette with the intelligent agents or assistants in connections. We hear it from Microsoft, so that will be for sure very important. And if we go to customers, we now recommend a kind of a bimodal or multimodal collaboration concept like Gartner proposed for the IT department. So on the one hand, you have the marathon runners, so the stable platforms, whatever you've chosen, if it's SAP Jam or Microsoft or Chive or whatever. And on the other hand, you have for certain teams, for certain initiatives maybe, you have the real runners, and here you could then, the sprinters, excuse me, and here you could use Slack or other platforms that are more agile in the future. And to make that happen, we developed some bots to integrate, for example, Slack and IBM Connections, which is a hot topic at the moment in all the, or in a lot of companies using IBM Connections, because it's complementary in a way. So what are the let's say, traditional Mode 1 providers? What are they doing at the moment? Microsoft, I'm sure you heard about the Office 365 Groups connectors and their idea to make Skype for Business as a team messaging platform with the bot framework. I am not really convinced that this will work, because it's so much legacy behind, and it's too complicated to move that dinosaur into the agile world. I'm not really, yeah, it will take some time. By the way, the difference between Yammer and Slack is that Microsoft bought the wrong platform. IBM, they have the idea of the intelligence assistants, Verse, Watson, and so on, and they have the famous Toscana project, which runs on PowerPoint at the moment, which is, as always, the problem with IBM. I'm convinced that they have really good ideas and they are trying hard to bring them into reality, but it takes too long. It just takes too long, which is a pity. And to make it faster, we built our own bots to integrate IBM Connections and Slack, for example. And Mango Apps, as a small provider for collaboration platform, you just go on their website, there is a help site how to integrate Slack and Mango Apps, and 5 minutes later it's done. So that's my short lightning speech about Slack. Hopefully it gave you some insights, and I'm happy to demo if you want.
Yeah, we'll have the discussion afterwards as well. Yes. Thank you, Siegfried.